Alright guys, Jameson and Alex here. Today we're going to be talking about the Pestilence Domain Cleric from Valda's Spire of Secrets.
Yes.
If you're new to the channel or to the subclass series, what we're going to do is go through all the abilities gained in the subclass and rate it based on its roleplay value, combat value, and overall class synergy, based on how the abilities gained in subclass improve on the base class abilities. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to be entered in our D&D Beyond Players Bundle giveaway.
I'd like to give away free stuff.
Yes. Also, thank you to our sponsors, Hit Point Press.
Yay!
Make sure you check out their big bads. Guys, if you're looking for some unique villains for your campaign, this is a great place to start to look at. Got some unique abilities, lore, backgrounds, all the stuff you need to add some spice.
And to throw your metagaming players off the trail.
Yes.
I was like, well,
Exactly.
I know what that does. It's a CR8 with this and this and this and this. You know what for it this is.
Exactly. So check them out, guys. I have a link down below so you can look into their stuff. Always good stuff coming from them. Worth a look. Helps us out. Helps them out. Appreciate it. So, Alex, jumping straight into it. Pestilence Domain. What do we get?
You get free spells because you're a cleric.
You need spells as a cleric.
Yeah, of course. The extra spells you get included to your list are Bane, Detect Poison and Disease, Blindness, Deafness, Protection from Poison, Bestow Curse, Remove Curse, Blight, Confusion, Contagion, and Insect Plague.
Sensing a theme here.
Yep. Additionally, it gives you a thing called Carrier at level 1. You are immune to disease and being poisoned.
All right.
And additionally, or choose at random, determining a lingering symptom that afflicts you. It's a bunch of just, gross extra
RP
stuff.
things, yeah.
Like you're constantly fevered, your skin is hot and covered in sweat. Like, that's just me. Like,
Shots fired.
like, I feel attacked personally. It's just this awful bad thing that happens. Like, yeah, it's just me. Okay.
It's bad. Anyways,
I did not tell him I was going to do that ahead of time.
also at level 1, because you're a cleric, why not? Bonus proficiency.
That's right.
Proficiency with heavy armor. I approve.
Yep.
Also at level 1.
Because you're a cleric.
There you go. Tumor. Your body sequesters its toxins in a bulbous protrusion. When a creature within 5 feet hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to try to poison the creature with the tumor. The creature must make a Constitution saving throw or be poisoned for 1 minute. The creature can reattempt a saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on a success.
Yep.
After using the ability, you must finish a short or long rest before using it again. So, there you go. Some interesting reaction use.
Next up is your new Channel Divinity option, Infection. You can use your action to touch a creature within your reach, which must make a Constitution saving throw, suffering one of the following diseases of your choice for 1 minute on a failed save. Since this ability induces a natural disease in its target, any effect that removes a disease or otherwise ameliorates, a disease's effect applies to it. The choices are Bloodmore. The creature bleeds freely. That's just gross. Whenever the creature takes bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, it loses an additional 1d6 hit points.
All right.
Joint Lock. So, arthritis. Got it. The creature's legs stiffen and its movement slows. The creature can move a maximum of 15 or half its speed, whichever is lower on its turn. That's wonderful. Imagine like something with flying. So you only fly 15 feet.
Yeah.
That's going to be good, actually. And then the most fun one of the three, Ruby Eye. The creature can see normally out to 5 feet, but is blind beyond this radius. So essentially,
That's crazy.
The minimum melee range is what it can do, but nothing else. Again, so I'm like, make something this and then make it run off the edge because it can't see where it's going.
There's a lot of things that can go with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Level 6, we get Fester. Your infectious power festers and grows. You gain the following special abilities. Whenever you deal necrotic or radiant damage, you can change the damage type to poison. You might think, why would I want to do that? The reason is the next ability, which is you ignore damage resistance to poison damage.
Yep.
So, essentially, now necrotic, radiant, and poison damage you can ignore because you can change the damage type to poison.
That's right.
And your cleric spells and abilities ignore immunity to the poison condition and being diseased. A creature that is immune to being poisoned or diseased makes its saving throws against your effect with advantage.
So they still have a little bit of a buff if they have immunity normally, but you still can go after them.
Yes.
To being, instead of your abilities being worthless against something that has immunity or resistance normally.
Exactly.
Next up at 8, we have Divine Strike. If you've ever played a cleric or seen a cleric video, you know what this is going to be. Once on each of your turns, we hit a creature with a weapon attack. You can deal an extra 1d8 poison damage. When you reach 14th level, it becomes an extra 2d8.
Yes, and don't forget, you can, ignore resistances to poison damage.
Yep.
So it makes it better than it would otherwise seem.
Finally, at 17, we have Viral Infection. The target, when you use your infection, which is your new channel divinity option, the target also has disadvantage on ability checks and saving throws using one ability score of your choice while it is diseased. Additionally, whenever a target of infection is within 5 feet of another creature, you can use your reaction to cause the infection to spread to it as well. Creature must make a Constitution saving throw or be infected by the same disease as the target for 1 minute.
All right. I like it. So those are all the abilities gained in the subclass, so we'll just move straight on into the rating portion of the video. First up is the roleplay value, asterisk, as always. When talking about roleplay value, we're talking about interacting with the world around you, interacting with NPCs, non-combat scenarios, avoiding combat, basically things outside of the initiative order. Not talking about your class fantasy, history, lore, background, that's on you as a player. We can't rate you, but we can rate the abilities gained in the subclass and how they might improve your potential in those role-play scenarios. So, all of that being said, looking at the actual abilities on here, you get some decent spell options for RP.
Yep.
They can come up in multiple different ways to do that, and it's very thematic with the, they're effective in RP, but also it's thematic. So, that is what it is. There is the small little thing about the table for flavor, which again, we're not really looking at flavor stuff, but it is nice that they put that in there just for fun, but no score bonus. The other thing really that is the only other thing, honestly, is the immune to disease and poison on there as well that goes along with that table.
Yep.
But that is going to be pretty niche and campaign dependent. If you're playing a campaign where those things are not very common, then it's really not going to be very valuable. But if you're playing something in jungle setting where there's some kind of crazy virus going around or something, it's going to be really impactful.
Yep.
So it is going to be more on the niche side of things for the most part. So we just went around with a 2 out of 5 for the role play. Some limited options on here.
On to the combat side of things, where clearly this is more focused around. You're getting a lot of spells that definitely work in combat. With, Bestow and Remove Curse can definitely be helpful. Blight, Confusion, Contagion, Insect Plague, all great. Bane, Blindness, and Deafness. So there's plenty of different. A lot of it's more utility stuff instead of damage, but there's some CC and interesting spells in there that you would probably, a lot of those you wouldn't normally take,
right?
Maybe,
yeah.
But the fact that again they're there allows you to focus on preparing other spells,
right?
That you wouldn't normally have any reason to take instead.
Exactly.
Yes, being immune to disease and being poisoned in case something's doing poison damage is wonderful. That's great. Proficiency with heavy armor. When is that a bad thing? Never. Tumor. When someone hits you with an attack, Constitution saving throw, or be poisoned. That's great. Except for the fact that it takes Constitution saving throw, which is the easiest success saving throw that you're going to be trying to trigger on somebody else after level 4 or 5.
Yes. I have comments on that, but I'll get to those at the end.
So that's frustrating, but again, it's a level 1 ability. So yes. It would be definitely more useful early than it will later on, for sure, which is going to be a common theme here. Your Channel Divinity options. You have 3 essentially different choices within the same choice for your Channel Divinity, because you either do additional damage every time they get hit because of the Bloodmore. Reducing their speed is good because they can't get away from you. And come to you essentially. If they're trying to run down your wizard or your sorcerer that has no health, you're like, no, you're going to stay over here. And then again, our personal favorite is the Ruby Eye, because having something where it can only see out to 5 feet is amazing. Because if he can't see you, it's gonna not be able to hit you very well. Even if something's only 15 feet away, it doesn't know you've moved.
Exactly. So you also would have advantage on attacks against it if you're outside of that range. So they can't see the attack coming.
Yeah. So any ranged attacks of any kind, be it archery, thrown daggers, or spells, wonderful.
Yes.
Fester, where the big thing here is normally changing things to poison damage is not the best choice.
Right.
But it allows you to not just 1, but 2 different damage types that are very common among cleric spells, Radiant and Necrotic to a lesser extent, but especially Radiant. To change those to poison, and you would do so because you get to ignore resistance to poison damage. So why would you, unless you discover that something is, for some reason, vulnerable to Radiant or vulnerable to Necrotic damage, you're better off just always making it poison damage.
Just to be safe.
And then, of course, you can get around immunity to the the condition being poisoned. They do have advantage on a saving throw, but you can still try to affect people who would normally be resistant to poison damage or the poison condition, which is great. Divine Strike, you're getting extra poison damage to your melees. Again, overcoming resistances and things, so it makes that more reliable. And you're going to be in melee combat range more than the average cleric because you have heavy armor.
Right.
And then, of course, the Viral Infection at 17, being able to spread that to multiple targets.
It's kind of giving you free use of the Channel Divinity.
It kind of is, which is fun. So, all being said, we came up with a 4 on a possible 5 on the thing.
There are lots of notes on
this. There are lots of notes on this, so go ahead.
Okay, so looking at everything on here, obviously the biggest detriment to everything on here is it's really focused around Constitution saving throws.
Yep.
And we bring this up a lot in a lot of our videos, is con save is the worst saving throw. And that gets gradually worse as you get higher level.
Yep.
That being said, I did a lot of research looking at creatures because I was like, this is a really interesting concept, and we know that con saves are bad, but how bad are they really?
Yep.
So I looked back at, I looked at CR10 monsters, and a lot of CR10 monsters have Constitution saving throw proficiencies.
Which matters.
Which means level 10 CR plus is going to be making these saves pretty regularly. When they're getting plus 7, 8, 9, 10 to their con saves, it's going to be hard for them to actually get affected by these.
Yep.
But when you go down to CR8, there are very few creatures that have con saves.
Just dropping 2 CR.
Only a handful. So the other thing that's going to be really nice with this is by level 6, really, you're really peaking around level 6 because you're getting the vast majority of your abilities really early. And you could say, like, Divine Strike, sure, at level 8. It's all right, but it's not. The main features are by level 6, is you're getting all your big stuff. Because you're also getting the ability to basically overcome 3 resistance types, which is Necrotic, Radiant, and Poison, because you can change them all to Poison and overcome. So that is a pretty big deal as well. And it's just... I'll try to sum it up on here.
We're not very good at that.
Early, this is a monster.
Yes.
Once you get past level 8 or so, when you're starting to fight higher CR things,
the double-digit CRs,
it's gonna start tapering off, and pretty rapidly at that. You're almost gonna become worthless. I don't want to say worthless, but it's gonna be very much less consistent.
Your impact is gonna crater.
What you'll want to do,
odds are anyway.
The best thing for you to do if your campaign does go beyond like level 9, 10-ish, is to become ad control.
Yes.
You go after the smaller things because your abilities are going to be more effective on them, and you let the rest of the party focus on the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
So
you're praying for every fight to have like a big dude and like 3 little dudes. It's like, I'll take the 3 little dudes.
Exactly. So that will help you keep being relevant as you get later levels.
Yep.
But you have to keep in mind that those big bads, you're not going to have a whole lot of impact against them most of the time. They're going to have
the one thing that does continue to carry is the getting over the damage resistances.
Yes.
So your spells will continue to hold damage better than even some other, just regular casters in general.
Yes.
Because if some of their best damage spells are, as a cleric, are radiant damage, and you end up fighting something that's resistant to radiant damage, you can make it poison and overcome the resistance, still get full damage.
So that does help.
So that part does stay with you all the way to the end, and that's very, very nice.
All of that being said, already touching on the synergy side of things. But basically, the biggest things with synergy on here with clerics, when you're talking about spells, Channel Divinity, your Divine Strike, or Empowered Cantrips in other cases. But with this one, Divine Strike. And with those, you are getting heavy armor proficiency, which helps. It helps you get in the middle mix of things, especially with your tumor reaction thing. And of course, your Channel Divinity options having to be close.
And you're 3 of them.
Exactly.
It's very, very... Because, it's all around the same effect, but you have 3 different effects you can choose from, which is great.
You're right, because if something, well, you have to look at the circumstances depending on what's going on. Certain ones might be better effective than others, and things like that. Like maybe something has like tremor sense or something, then you don't care about the 5 feet of vision because it has tremor sense. It's not going to really do anything. So you have to keep that kind of thing in mind. But that being said, having the options is a really nice thing to have. The only thing with the tumor reaction is it's once per short rest, so it's not really that impactful. And also, con saves on some of the abilities on here, again, it's going to taper off. So you're going to have to try to stick to the weaker, smaller things just to maintain your relevancy as the campaign progresses.
Yep.
The spell damage change, as Alex and I have hit on multiple times now, is huge. It really is a big deal, and it's hard to not stress how good that really is.
Yep.
And then, of course, the viral infection spreading gets extra use out of your channel divinities, and if you have multiple things that can't see or multiple things that can barely move, you're going to have a lot of crowd control potential.
Yeah, because if you're reducing something's movement speed and multiple movement speed down to 15 feet or even less, if their movement speed's only 20 by default or 25 by chance, then it also allows you and any other casters you may have in your group to further target AoE with spells even better. Because they're kind of clustered together for some reason. Now I want to pop that, so this and all three happen to fail it. Now nobody gets to go anywhere.
Right, exactly.
So they're going to stay right there.
Some nice utility on there as well. So we went with a 4 on the synergy as well. And again, I think the biggest thing with this is early on, it's going to be very good. You get beyond level 8, 9, 10-ish, you got to start thinking about what you're targeting with your abilities, because the chances are it's going to be less effective on stuff.
Yeah, probably everybody watching this has heard of the term bell curve. The peak of said bell curve is in that 6 to 8, 6 to 9 range, essentially. And once you get fighting those double-digit CR stuff, like Jameson said, you really become best at just focusing on ad control. Right. Because a lot of your big hitting stuff and class features aren't going to be as effective against higher CR stuff.
Yeah, so definitely a very interesting one, and made us take a second look at con saves to see how impactful it really is, and interesting to find out what we did about that kind of bell curve on there, where it does actually start to taper off. So that's going to be useful information for the future, of course.
That's right.
So that's going to be it for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so when our new videos are coming out. Make sure, again, you check out our sponsors, Hit Point Press.
Yes.
Awesome stuff coming from them. Hit the link down below. It really helps us out. Appreciate it, guys. And as always, thanks for watching.